Joining me now is one of my favorite people in the world of football. Tom Grossi, how are you?
I am so well.
Yeah?
Zach, how are you?
Good. Well, first of all, happy birthday. We're probably going to put this out tomorrow, tomorrow morning, but we're recording this on your birthday. Happy birthday. It's your 30th, I believe.
Thank you. Yes, it's the big 3-0.
That's crazy.
Yes.
You don't look 30. Not that.
Thank you.
I mean, is that something I should say?
Like
I don't know.
45. I get that a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Working on a new moisturizer, but it hasn't gotten shipped yet. Amazon's been pretty slow.
In case you don't know, I'm working on a smoky death over here, where it's like,
yeah,
my gosh.
Like I grew up with asthma, and like I hear about it out there, and I'm like, I feel like I'd walk outside and just be like, I guess I'll die now. That's basically how it would go.
Well, dude, the AQI, which is the air quality index, was at 524 yesterday, which is equivalent to smoking over 23 cigarettes in one day. Like, it's like, what the heck? You can't go outside. And I live in a cool place where upstairs is like my recording area, and it's like smoke up here, and you can't get it out. It's like, I don't think it shows up on camera, but it's just hanging around everywhere. It's awful.
Good God, 23 a day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a crazy Tuesday if you ask me, but no, that's bad.
Like, I think I survived COVID okay, but now I got to deal with smoky death, and that's another. And then the fires might get us too, so you never know. Honestly, it's just the apocalypse is here.
Yeah, that's it. It is here, and it's in your backyard and upstairs. So I am so sorry that you have to deal with that.
No. Let's talk about our favorite distraction, at least my favorite distraction, which is football. I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers because, oh my goodness, man, I think people think I hate Aaron Rodgers for some reason. I don't understand
People
why.
definitely think that you hate Aaron Rodgers 100%. Because here's the thing. I'll tell you exactly why.
Okay.
Because if you criticize Aaron Rodgers in the slightest, you hate him. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100% it. And I think because if I say something about Aaron Rodgers, like, I have to do it in like a sandwich, right? So it's just like, man, his facial hair looked really great today, but his accuracy could have been better. And man, has he been working out? Like, you have to give him that compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
But I feel like, especially coming from the outside, considering how the media usually treats Aaron Rodgers, I think fans respond to that usually with a lot of hostility.
Yeah. Well, I understand it too. He's been given a lot of unfair criticism over the years as well, so I understand the defensiveness. I want to say the last year with Aaron Rodgers, I kept waiting, and if you go watch my predictions video for 2019, I was like, this is the year Aaron Rodgers is going to win an MVP. He's got a new coach. It's going to work out. It's going to be awesome. And that game, we never got a game like yesterday or like Sunday, where Sunday was the game I've been waiting for a year and a half with Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, yes, it was awesome. Is that how you felt as a Packer fan?
Honestly, no. And the reason being is because, heading into these past few years, I think that Packers fans from 2011 up to about, I'll say 2018, with the exception of maybe 2014, it's been the Aaron Rodgers show in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yep.
The lack of defense, right? And that's why I say 2014, because we had a pretty good defense in 2014. But you go back and look at a 2011 where we're setting offensive records. You go back and you look at a 2016 when we're running the table. It's all Aaron Rodgers. And this is something that I brought up with Mark Murphy when I interviewed him. And I said, listen, you look at a team like the Eagles and the Vikings that year that they were in the NFC Championship game, and they were both able to make it there with their backup QB. And meanwhile, when our QB goes down, we're screwed. We have no team.
Yeah.
There's no hope. It's terrible. And that's just how it was. And I think, coming into last year, I didn't think that Rodgers was going to light the world on fire, because for the first time in almost a decade, he didn't have to, in which they had the running game. They had a defense that was better, or at least improved. Run defense is another story, but they had something that was improved. You could go into Chicago and win 10-3. And that was kind of like the direction in which they were going. And I think, coming into this year, I thought that it was going to be even more of that, of hard-nosed defense, followed by a strong running game, and Aaron Rodgers is allowed to be Aaron Rodgers whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
And I think, if anything, what Sunday proved is, one, Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere anytime soon, at least for another couple of years, or until he seriously regresses. And two, I'm really, really convinced that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers can turn into a Lamar Jackson and Ravens and a Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs. And what I mean by that is they can have that two-headed monster of an offense in which they can run it down your throat, and you also have Aaron Rodgers who can throw for, 4 touchdowns on you. That's where I'm hoping it's going. But I can't say I'm like terribly surprised, because I was like, okay, he's going to have like, a 32 touchdown year, over 4,000 yards, and that would be fine. Because again, he didn't have to be Superman anymore.
Yeah, no, I watched Big Ben on Monday Night Football and went, oh,
Yeah.
Big Ben is back. And I watched Aaron Rodgers on Sunday and went, okay, well, the decline is maybe we were wondering if it was going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. It's one game. I don't want to overreact completely, but
of course.
I mean, that game Sunday is what I've been waiting for from Aaron Rodgers for a long time. And it sounds like there's more to be excited about than just Aaron Rodgers. It's the defense. And you were right about one thing. You said that, and I believe they're going to lose more games maybe this year, but be a better team because their schedule's insane.
Yeah.
But they look better. Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree. And I think, I was mentioning this on something. Might have been my show, might have been someone else's. The days all blur together. That I was mentioning it, that this was like the first time that I was watching this offense on Sunday. I go, oh, that's not Mike McCarthy's offense. You saw like a sprinkle of it last year with LaFleur coming in, and it's really hard to implement new play calls, new schemes, what have you. And a lot of the times where they struggled or they fell behind, they regressed and they went back to or reverted back to Mike McCarthy's offense. You saw a lot of that last year, especially like in like the Chargers games, the 49ers games, etc. And I think this, with all the jet sweeps and the end arounds and the spreading of the ball, how you had Josiah DeGuara, who a lot of people were upset about that we drafted in the 3rd round, making amazing blocks, taking out 2 defenders with one tackle. Like, that's the kind of stuff I was like, oh, that's what I'm really excited for, because it's something different, and I'm all aboard that train. And like you said, it's still just week 1, but looking ahead at the Lions and all of their corner injuries, you might see a similar performance week 2.
How about Valdez-Scantling? Marquez Valdez-Scantling was awesome. And I would say this. I watched the Browns game right before watching the Packers game. I'm
so sorry.
Me too. But I would take Marquez Valdez-Scantling over Odell Beckham Jr. today. I think he's a better receiver. And they both had a key drop on a 3rd down. But along with that embarrassing drop on a 3rd down when they're wide open, Valdez-Scantling, he beat people downfield. He had receptions. He was open more. I actually was way more impressed with Valdez-Scantling than I was OBJ. And I know that we look at the NFL like it's Madden and go, well, OBJ's better, but I don't know that that's actually true right now. How excited were you about Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
I mean, this is a guy that Packer fans have been waiting to blow up since he was drafted in 2018, because quite honestly, he's the only speedy wide receiver we have. Like, he's the only deep threat, speedy guy, who's going to actually beat corners, beat safeties, and that's it. And the past 2 years, if you look up his stats and watch him play, like, it's basically the same exact story. He usually comes on pretty strong in the beginning, and he looks really good in the middle, like the beginning of the season. Then he starts falling off, and then he disappears in the back half of the season. Yeah. And it was frustrating because it was just the consistency and the narrative that kind of got created of just like, he needs confidence, what have you. And Rodgers was one of the first guys to be like, listen, I have a lot of confidence in this guy. It's not a confidence issue. It's just repetition. It's blah, 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 blah. And, with Marquez, it's fat because he makes like those ridiculous contested catches, like that he got the touchdown on Sunday, and then he'll like drop, I think he dropped like 2 balls that like are just hit him in the hands. And like, that's the kind of like thing I look at that I'm like, oh God, please, like just be consistent. But that being said, I was very happy with the way that he played. He was obviously a difference maker. Alan Lazard played really, really well. I think, all the talk about the Packers getting a wide receiver. And as I said, Zach, I swear, I have at least 30 DMs between Instagram and Twitter right now asking if we should go get OBJ. And I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't answer it one more time.
I don't think you want him.
No, I don't. I said this last year, I didn't want him because, like, at this point, I'm sorry, like, with what money? With what cap space are we magically going to pull out of our asses and be like, oh, there it is? Yeah. I forgot we put a few bills up there. No. And I think, with this, coming in with the receiving core. A lot of people give him a lot of flack, including myself. But I also said, you look at a guy like Jay Sternberger, you look at a guy like Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones, who are all passing threats. And it doesn't have to come from the wide receivers. You look at the San Francisco 49ers, right? The big plays are usually not coming from their wide receivers. It's coming from George Kittle, right? And their ground game. So I think that the Packers can show that Aaron Rodgers can still throw 4 touchdowns, and it doesn't need to be, receivers that were picked in the first round, which I hate that narrative. It's so dumb.
Marquez Valdes-Scantling did a thing that I don't know that a lot of people, not you, but anybody that watches football understands the significance of it. Is he beat a cover 4 corner down the sideline, meaning that the corner starts like 10, 12 yards off. Their whole job is do not let the receiver get behind you. It basically turns into man coverage. And Valdes-Scantling runs right by him. I'm like, ha. And it was less about, it was bad coverage. It was also a really impressive play by Valdes-Scantling running right by a corner who was started off and he just couldn't turn around fast enough. I've never seen, I'm sure it happens. I don't see it a lot in the NFL where a receiver beats a corner who's playing cover 4 like that. When I saw that, I went, okay. Valdes-Scantling I was impressed. Like, this is a really cool move and a good play. What else other than Aaron Rodgers, other than Marquez Valdes-Scantling, what excites you? Give me some names. Who are the people? What are the things that excite you about this Packers team?
I got to be honest. It really doesn't show up on the stat sheet too much. Mm-hmm. I love Tyler Irvin.
Who is that? I don't even know that name.
That man. I think he only carried the ball like 4 times on Sunday. Tyler Irvin is the guy that we brought in late last year, because we had the worst kick return ratio in the league. Like, we had negative yards, I think, like at least halfway through the season, and it was god awful. And Tyler Irvin came in, we picked him up, and like he got like 6 yards on his first play, and we were like, this guy's our savior. Like, he's the greatest. And he made the team again. They signed him for another year. And it was rumored in camp that he was also lining up with the wide receivers. And the thing I love about him is he is so quick and provides such a change of pace compared to a guy like Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, or, A.J. Dillon. And that excites me, because I think he's a guy who you can plug anywhere and he will fight for yards and he will make plays. And he's so elusive. And I know like all the attention, and rightfully so, goes to like an Aaron Jones and like an A.J. Dillon. But yeah, I love the way that they can utilize him. I am really, I'm very fortunate to be like, oh man, we have Mercedes Lewis still on the team. The guy's not going to catch anything, but he is an amazing blocker. And him with Josiah DeGuara just bulldozing people as 2 really good blocking tight ends, I think he's going to allow us to have so many different looks. Like, I think honestly, for the first time in a long, I am really, really excited for the play calling. Because I think that, for defenses, it's going to be of like, where do we even go? And the offensive line, considering, that you had injuries, you had Lucas Patrick get injured, you had Lane Taylor get injured, who's now out for the season, and you had a 6th round rookie, John Runyon, come in, Jenkins, who started over in right tackle, moved back to guard, and then they put, Ricky Wagner over there, and there was so much shifting go around, and they still didn't let up a single sack. Like, I'm looking at the offense of like, everyone was like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns. That's amazing. And yes, it is. But I was just looking at how that offense was functioning. And as a Packers fan who has watched for a very long time, it was a very different offense to see. And I was just like so excited about the nuance of it.
Would you be surprised if Green Bay lost this weekend?
No.
That's just the skeptic, the sad fan skeptic in you.
No, so, and the reason being, though, is because, like, you look at a team like the Lions. We went into the NFC Championship game last year, but, like, we literally were not leading the Lions for a single second in either game. We literally won with a field goal with no time left on the clock. The Lions play very difficult. Now, if their corners are out, then I think, it's going to be feast time. But Kenny Clark is dealing with a groin injury. I think that definitely hurt the pass rush later in the game, because in the 4th quarter we gave up a lot of points. But Kenny Clark is most likely going to be out on Sunday. Adrian Peterson, if he's going to do anything, he'll rush for 150 yards on the Packers, and that's all he'll do all season. But like for the Packers, like I just have so much PTSD from him that I'm just like, yeah, he's going to hurt us again. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Packers run away with it too.
Yeah. I watched the Bears and Lions game. And
Again, I apologize.
Well, Bears fans are begging me to believe in Mitchell Trubisky. I even got a message, I hope it was a joke, talking about how Trubisky now is on a trajectory to have a better career than Patrick Mahomes. Again, I hope it was a joke. I'm sure it was. It might not have been, though. Bears fans are very... And I understand where Bears fans are coming from because they need Mitchell Trubisky to work. They need him to be good.
Yeah.
Is it fair of me to look at a week 1 performance where, I don't know if you watched the game, but he had a dropped interception. The Lions threw an interception with the lead, 3 points. The Lions were ahead by 3 points. Matthew Stafford throws an interception that gives the Bears really good field position with like 2 minutes left. And then the Lions drop the game-winning touchdown pass with 5 seconds left. I look at the Bears and I go, yeah, Trubisky had a good fourth quarter, and I could see it going either way, where maybe Trubisky was really rusty and he finally settled in by the fourth quarter, or maybe that's just a unique thing we're not going to see again. I think it's very fair of me to go, let's wait 6 games before we judge Mitchell Trubisky. Do you agree?
I think you need to wait a few weeks. I definitely agree that you need to wait a few weeks. And again, but you look at it and again, I don't have the stats in front of me.
No need.
But one of the things I did realize that like Trubisky, there weren't really any design runs for him, which and I don't like that blows my. I'm sorry, it blows my mind. You have a terrible offensive line, first of all, and like the guy has proven that like when he improvises and when he's like doing like he's pretty damn good with his feet.
Yep.
Like that blows my mind.
It's one of his strengths is running around.
Yeah, it 100% is. And I think that, you look at, and I know that they're completely different coaches and completely different scenarios. And I know it's just week 1 and I'm trying not to make any grand assumptions or generalizations here. But all that being said, you look at what Bill Belichick did week 1 with Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton, he made the throws that he had to make and they looked pretty good, to Cam's credit. But the guy was a monster on the ground. Yep. Right? Had 2 touchdowns, and they played to Cam Newton's strength. That was a running offense, and they played to his strengths, and they designed the offense around him. They have never, and I mean ever, in Mitch Trubisky's entire tenure, designed the offense around him. Because in order for Mitch Trubisky, the one really good season that he had, in which they went to the wild card game, they were killing it in the rushing game. Because they had a strong rushing team behind him, and so Trubisky could fall back on that. And then the past 2 years, they've kind of like abandoned it. So... for that, like Trubisky, I don't know if he's gonna be a franchise guy. I don't think he's going to. But as you and I sat here and talked about this last week, he's not the only problem on the team. And I don't know what David Montgomery's stats were from Sunday. I don't have them in front of me. But like, if you want them to be successful, then like it starts with dedicating to the run. And taking it from there, because you are 100% correct. The Lions literally had a million chances to win that football game, and they didn't. And I would argue it's not necessarily because the Bears played really well.
Yep, I agree. We'll see about Trubisky. I have hope, though. I will say, because another guy, and I do hate Trubisky. I'm not even gonna pretend I don't. I don't like Trubisky. He's driven me nuts. He's infuriating to watch. He's driven me crazy for years. Him and Blake Bortles were the 2 guys I couldn't stand. But I will say, for the first time in a long time with Trubisky, I have hope. Hey, maybe week 1, maybe this is the game. He had a fourth quarter comeback. I doubt it. I'm very skeptical, but I hope I'm wrong. Because it would be fun. Like he's like the little engine that could. You can't hate the guy. You're like, please, dude.
I am all aboard the train that the Bears get rid of Mitch Trubisky and he goes to some team and just has an amazing career. Like, that's the thing. Like, Teddy Bridgewater, I am all aboard the Teddy Bridgewater train. Like, I hope he kills it in Carolina and freaking the Vikings suffer with Kirk Cousins in perpetuity. I am all about that. So, yeah, no, I am 100% committed to rooting for Trubisky and the Bears organization just to continue to run itself into the ground, because that 1 year that they were good God, they were insufferable. So yeah, no, I'm bitter. I hold on to things.
Tom, I love you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna let you go. Enjoy your birthday. Hang out with your wife. Tell her I said hi, and hope you have a great day, man.
You too, buddy. Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, take care.